Hi, I am Marvelous Mark, the Marvelous One, back for another Raw review for June 3rd, 2013. And you knew it was going to get real tonight when the opening segment. We are in Hartford, Connecticut, so who should we get to start off the show but Stephanie McMahon? Yes. Old Steph looking as hot as ever, I gotta tell you. But she's out there and she wishes it was under better circumstances because she's not going to let her husband wrestle tonight. That's right, Paul Levesque is not going to wrestle tonight. Or Triple H or God or whoever the one, however you want to call him, however you know him by. But she's not going to let him wrestle because she's thinking about herself, she's thinking about the WWE Universe, and she's thinking about her children. And if that wasn't enough, then we got the return of Mr. McMahon on television. And he basically agrees with Steph about how he's not going to wrestle. He's not going to wrestle. So, and Steph and Vince, they do kind of have a point, because with the real life concussion issues of Dolph Ziggler, you can kind of see why they don't want him to wrestle. But I mean, this opening segment, I thought it was pretty good. Then, right before we go to commercial, you get an appearance by the Shield. You would have thought with the Shield coming out there, they were gonna do something to Steph and Vince, but no. They cut the commercial, and then when they come back, their Shield are in the ring, and Vince and Steph are gone. Poof. So then we got one of the first highlights of the night was the six-man match between the Shield and against Team Hell No and Randy Orton. Daniel Bryan was a man possessed in this match. And Daniel Bryan, you are not the weak link. You're not the weakest link or whatever, But the Shield wins again, which I have no problem with. It's just kind of a shame that Daniel Bryan had to do the job here. I guess kind of feeding along the storyline that he's the weak link, which he's obviously not. But I have no problem with the Shield winning this match, but it's like, God, if they keep winning, they ain't going to have anybody left to beat. So next you had a sighting by the Usos, so I guess they're wearing face paint now, I guess. It's something completely different. And they ended up taking on the primetime players. This match was joined in progress. Usos win. Titus O'Neil deserves a hell of a lot better. They need to get him away from Darren Young. Darren Young is the elbow truss around Titus O'Neil's neck. I believe that Titus O'Neil needs to be a singles wrestler. So, yeah. Okay, next is another one in the series between ADR and Big E Langston. Okay, I don't know if this is like the best of 5, best of 7, or whatever the hell it is. It was 2-2 going into tonight. ADR ends up winning he had the cross-arm breaker on Big E, and then he ended up turning him into a pinning combination, and he won. So I guess he's up 3-2. Is this going to be a best of 7 series, I guess, maybe? I don't know. I mean, one thing I will say is that it's not Booker T against Chris Benoit for the U.S. title, that best of 7 series that they had, and it sure as hell isn't Magnum TA against Nikita Koloff for the same U.S. title back in 1986, so. Here's another match I didn't care about. Sheamus against Cody Rhodes. I don't care about Sheamus. Sheamus goes over clean with the Brogue Kick. I don't know why they're putting him in a storyline with Damian Sandow. If you watched SmackDown last week, I thought that Shell Game stuff was stupid. But I guess Sheamus is going over just because he can, I guess. It's like, I don't care about Sheamus. Okay, what was the recurring theme throughout the first part of the show was the thing between Triple H, Stephanie, and Vince, where Triple H is not being allowed to wrestle tonight, but he says he's going to do it next week at the very beginning of the show, and ends up taking his bags and leaving, not because Vince told him to, because he doesn't want to beat up his grandkid's grandpa on live television. So, yeah. Oh, let's see if I can do 2 for 1 here. Fandango against the Great Khali. This match only won a couple 3 or 4 minutes or so. I guess Khali ends up winning my count out. We end up seeing Miz on top of the ramp, which he looked like he's going to go for Fandango, I guess. But then Barrett comes out of nowhere with the bullhammer elbow, and that kind of leads into their match with coming back. And Fandango ends up coming back out to dance on top of the ramp, which distracted Barrett. Miz took advantage and won with the figure 4 leg lock, and down goes Barrett again. Does anybody care that there is probably going to be a triple threat match for the IC title between Miz and Barrett and Fandango? The only way I would care is that if Fandango goes over and wins the IC title. Alright, your 2-hour main event segment was that contract sign between CM Punk and Chris Jericho. Jericho and Paul Heyman are out there. And you know, this segment kind of felt flat to me. Considering you have 2 of the best talkers in the business in Heyman and Jericho, I would have thought this would have been a better segment than it was, but Jericho ends up signing the contract, and he's looking for a place to deposit it, and he puts it right in the pants of Paul Heyman and nails him right in the handbag. Wow. This was not a good segment, considering the parties involved. It should have been a lot better than it was, you would have thought. And Punk wasn't even there, so Heyman's doing all his talking, so yeah. Alright, 6 Diva tag match between the Bella Boobs and AJ against Caitlyn and the Funkadactyls. It's about the only real noteworthy thing about this match is that AJ dropped off the apron when one of the Bellas wanted to make the tag. So she ate the spear from Caitlyn, and Caitlyn and Funkadactyls win. That's all. Alright, then in the second match of the night for Daniel Bryan, he took on Ryback, and Daniel Bryan, to me, is the best thing going in WWE right now. Ever since he's kind of developed this inferiority complex, if you will. I mean, he is really upped his game, and he's probably the most over superstar in the WWE right now. But I mean, the match he had at the beginning of the show with the Shield, and going into this match with Ryback, these are quite honestly the 2 best matches on the card tonight, and Daniel Bryan was part of them. And Daniel Bryan ends up winning by DQ after Ryback digged out of the table and put him through it. Then Cena came out to save the day. And then we got Curtis Axel out there, which went right into the main event segment. Well, 3 weeks in a row that Curtis Axel has been in the main event. 2 weeks ago it was God, and in the last 2 weeks he's been against Cena. This time with a no DQ stipulation. And there were people that, including myself, that got kind of mixed up about this no DQ thing. It's like, just because it was no DQ, it didn't mean it was no count out. So that's why the hard body ref Scott Armstrong was counting. And this actually wasn't too bad of a match. And Ryback ends up coming out to attack Cena, and there's a table that was set up earlier from the match with Daniel Bryan. It was set up on the outside. Ryback puts Cena through it, and for the second week in a row, Curtis Axel wins by a countout. Alright, final thoughts on this show. I thought the 2 matches involving Daniel Bryan were the best on the card. I like what they're doing with Daniel Bryan's character right now. Just please do not turn him heel. I mean, WWE is sorely lacking for top level faces on that side. It's like they got plenty of heels, but they don't have a lot of higher up baby faces, you know. Then the Curtis Axel John Cena match is actually decent, except for like the finish. I get Ryback trying to send a message to Cena one more time. I really hope that they get Titus O'Neil away from Darren Young, because I think that ship has sailed as far as that tag team is concerned. And then another vignette about the Wyatt family. I'm really excited to see them coming up to the main roster. I haven't really watched NXT, so I haven't really watched a lot of Bray Wyatt's stuff. I know him as Husky Harris, but as far as the show goes, I've seen worse Raws. I've seen better Raws. This wasn't that bad of a show, all things considered. So I am Marvelous Mark, and I am out of here, and I'll see you later.